Swiggity sorty, let's get that booty.
Hello, welcome back to the SlimCogcast once again, and this week we real light on the news. We've been watching a bit of anime, and I've been dumping into some new games. One of the things about this week is that it is your boy's birthday. Well, technically it was my birthday 4 hours ago, but the 31st. Had myself a good time, good day, a bit of birthday boy. So yeah, and hopefully, there'll be some people looking out, and those who wish me happy birthday, thank you, and those who, may wish to show and express it, and then, I greatly appreciate it. We'll see. But moving forward, one of the things that I've noticed real quick, like a little tidbit when I listen back to the podcast, I hate how often I say but like I try so hard. First few episodes of this podcast, I edited every last and out of the podcast that I could. Increase the workload by like almost 3 times, man. It took me almost 3 times as long to finish a podcast episode. It was ridiculous. So yeah. I'm gonna do it like this. Is another thing I abuse for transition. But first off, hello everybody. Welcome to the SlimCogcast. My name is SlimCognito, and unfortunately, I'm black. Now, keep in mind that I told everybody that I'd be watching the Fire Force anime, which is actually pretty good. I started it, and I'm about 13 episodes in. So I'm about more than halfway done, and I've been enjoying myself for the most part, aside from me being sick and whatnot. I still power through to be able to, sit up and try to watch it. And it's got like a little espionage type of spy thing going on and betrayal type things going on. And I really like that in concept. The only complaint I have about it is that it's not, it's not taking that and pushing it to the limit, like getting to know some characters and getting attached to those characters, and they turn out to be traitors all along type shit, or maybe it might be that way and I hadn't finished. So I don't know, but this is one of the reasons why I really shouldn't review things that I haven't finished, but I just want to give you guys at least a little update, since I've been watching something or whatever. So just to let you guys know that I've been watching the anime. Now, the other thing about Fire Force that I do enjoy, because that's the only gripe I really have, what I do enjoy is the unique characters and abilities in each character. There's a somewhat of a power system, but it's not that deep. It's pretty much a shallow power system, where it's just, generations have power levels, and the higher the generation, the higher the power level. Makes sense. Now I need a justifiable explanation as to why the main character has this special flame powers about him, but other than that, it seems like they're doing the Jesus trope again. And the reason I say that is, for those who don't know, every TV show, anime, cartoon, anything that has to do with the story plot of you are the chosen one. I don't care if you're talking about Dark Souls or if you're talking about Naruto. Anything about being the chosen one is a derivative story of the biblical story of Jesus. When it comes to Japanese media, a lot of Japanese artists and writers, they copy the Bible heavily. Not just the Bible, but other religions as well. But when it comes to the Bible, though, they copy it heavily. Hell, Naruto is about a chosen one whose father died for him so that he could live. But now he has to go on a pilgrimage across the nation and spread love and peace so that everyone can understand that there's a more wise way for the ninjas to exist, you see. Moving from that, though, let's talk about the animation. The animation is very good. It's nice and crisp. Sometimes they pay attention to little details that most animes wouldn't bother with, Like, there was a scene where the main character was fighting a guy. I don't want to spoil anything, but he's fighting a guy who had a primarily boxing fighting style. And our main character is basically taekwondo, basically a kick fighting style. And the funny thing is, he would use that. He used his power to propel himself to a wall, and he grabbed onto a pipe that was on that wall. But the impact of him grabbing onto the pipe, they made like a slight inch of the pipe buckle and gave it a sound effect. Like those little details when he held onto the wall, it's not just attached to a drawn wall. It's showing, hey, he's actually hanging on to that wall. So yeah, that's pretty good stuff. The fight scenes, immaculate. They got somebody to motion cap or storyboard some really good kung fu flicks with a little flair to it if there were powers involved, and made something dope. And I do respect it. I rock with art style. Great. It's still just as good as the Soul Leader art style, which obviously same creator, no duh. So yeah, I dig it. I've always been a fan, and I gotta say the characters themselves are interesting. The female characters are okay. There's enough variability in it to the point where you're not really tired of any of them. They'll say, okay, we'll give you this trope, and then we'll give you this trope, and then we'll give you this trope. Just enough to spread them out so you won't get tired of any of them at one point, So that's cool too. Music's pretty dope. The intros and outros aren't that exciting. They're not jamming that much. But then, to be honest, I came off of the OPs from the Rise of a Shield Hero, and those are some good openings, some damn good music. So, I guess my expectations might be too high. But yeah, Fire Force, I can't say too much on it because I don't want to spoil anything. We're just gonna move forward. Here's another thing that I've been playing is not only have I gotten a lot of things for good deals, okay? But we've picked up the Evil Within 2, and we've got Persona 5 for $8, which is on PSN right now. It's on sale for $8. So if you don't have it, get it. It's $8 if you have PlayStation Plus. But yeah, I couldn't turn it down. It's just impossible. So Persona 5, Guacamelee 1 and 2. I think, yeah, Guacamelee 1 and 2, and I also got Hotline Miami 2. There's a lot of things that we've acquired that's going to be streamed this week, most likely. And we're going toward the road. We're on the road to building a PC as well. I might try to find some type of method to stream it. If not, I'll just, I don't know, man. If I can't find a way to stream it, I might just film it and then upload the footage after. Yeah, all in all, things have been good. Things have been great. So, let's get into the games we've been playing this week so far. I usually do the Apex thing. We're on the grind, doing the Apex grind. I said I didn't want to do it. Now, here I am grinding on Apex ranked and Overwatch ranked. And you know what's ironic? Stuck in gold in both games, in all 4 ranks, stuck in gold, high gold. It's ridiculous. I am so tired. I'm so tired. Like, I can feel the tiredness in other people who carry with me. Like, I'll carry, and then other people who I queue up with, they'll be carrying as well. And then I can tell that we're all like, why can't we just get our SR? Like, even tonight, I just played with a team. Everybody was on point. Well, mostly everyone that I'm familiar with. I can't recall the new people that I played with tonight because I wasn't really paying attention long enough, and I hadn't played with them long enough. But I'm with a crew right now that's like immaculate. But there's always something stupid going on with the enemy team being too damn strong. Or we end up with a bot that literally holds everybody back, and it's just too much. I'm getting burnt out on Overwatch real bad, man. Like real bad. And if I get a hold of it on the PC, that might give a little more life to it, but it's still gonna feel like the same game. So we'll see. What else I was okay. One of the recent changes to the old Apex thing was I've been seeing more people use Loba, but boy do they use her wrong. Like I just see them tossing the teleport ring, the jump drive, and they would have their weapon holstered. It's like, you do realize you gotta come out of that teleportation, right? Like it's a big old white line going along the ground and in the air. We can see it. I'm gonna shoot you as soon as you pop out of it. It's not a wraith portal. It's not a grapple hook. It's friggin' a telegraph teleport, and it's easy to predict. They'll learn though. It's more of those one of those things where you have to use it while you're in cover, I guess you could say. Hold up. Yeah, I'd say it's good for being in cover and if you're retreating. I would only use that ability if it's only one person left in a squad that we've been fighting and I have the clear advantage and I don't want to chase or I want to pop up behind them. That may be useful, but still it's way too risky to use in combat. Yeah. So all in all, people thought she was going to be OP, but she's not. She's actually pretty balanced. And personally, I'm not a fan. I just stopped playing her after about the second or third day she came out. I was like, she can't beat, my Bloodhound or, I've actually, like, surprisingly, I've been playing one of my most hated characters. I've been playing Gibraltar. And I didn't even expect that out of myself. And won a few games with Gibraltar. As a matter of fact, it's going to be in the clips in this here podcast. I'll include it in that since I brought it up. But yeah, been playing me some Gibraltar, so enjoying myself. I've just been an asshole, just waiting until the ring gets small enough. And then just blanket an entire, just make a whole... what's the word I'm looking for? I just blocked the enemy team using my ult, man. Just being an asshole. And they can't go anywhere, but it's placed perfectly so they can't exactly run out of it. And I can just sit there and shoot the rest of them. It's never been easier, I wish I got some of that on footage, but I didn't. So, poo. Moving on. I started Okage, the Shadow King. And while I will admit this game... it's got a weird UI. It's got some weird ass art. It's got some weird ass dialogue and a weird ass plot. And I love it. Yeah, I'm all the way in. Like one of the first things that his sister said to she said that she was at a certain age that she needs to start dating. According to this book that her mother reads, their mother reads called How to Manipulate a Man. And I'm just like, whoa, that is way too woke. Like they just straight said that. But yeah, I hadn't gotten into any combat or anything like that. Still doing like preliminary story stuff. I just wanted to start up and see the first hour to see, where it would go. And it's pretty good. It's funny, it's quirky, good script. So I'm definitely in on that. And I started Call of Duty World War II just to get a feel for that since it's free on the PlayStation Plus for June, available right now. It was also announced that we were supposed to get EA's Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2, but I hadn't seen it available yet, and the only way you can get it free thus far is with EA Access, which why would you give EA any more money than they already need for a game purchase? No, dumb. No remorse for anybody out there who has EA Access. And the only benefit off of EA Access that I could imagine is doing for the Star Wars games and the sports games, I suppose, because people still play Madden, but they don't really play NBA 2K. I mean NBA Live. Oh well, who cares? Anywho, I don't really see much of much value in going for that subscription based gaming. That's not really universe. It's just not. I don't see how I could utilize it. I just don't. Because the EA doesn't make as many games as they used to in previous generations that were actually detrimental or important like that. So if there was still any of the street variations of the sports games, then maybe, or Def Jam sequels, etc. But hell, we might need to leave Def Jam alone unless we can get the same people who designed the mechanics and the fighting neutral ground and everything that they designed for that game in New York, Fight for New York. Until we have that in the sequel, I don't think they should do anything else. It's got to be exactly like that. But Call of Duty World War II, hopefully we'll get Battlefront 2. World War II right now, I just been fooling around with the campaign. I hadn't touched the multiplayer. The campaign, though, is actually pretty interesting, very engaging when it comes to the plot. I'm enjoying myself. I really do like war stories from time to time. I don't mind a little bit of Jarhead here and a little bit of Saving Private Ryan and etc. So it's worth it. It's actually pretty good, and I don't regret playing it. So look at that. And I think that's the last Call of Duty campaign that ever released, right? If I remember correct. Might be. That's the gist of all of them I've been playing. The only thing that I could really speak about on Call of Duty is that one freaking stage where you had to play as a spy undercover and infiltrate a German house, a German mansion, to try to speak to the leader of the, I guess it was the outpost or whatnot. And of course you get compromised because it wouldn't be thrills like that if you weren't. And it went pretty smooth. It was easy to see the man behind the curtain with the PlayStation 2 era scenario building, with areas, as you progress along. So it felt like I was playing a first person shooter from the early 2000s era, and I didn't mind that. Yeah, so yeah, that was a bomb stage. I like the architecture and the way they walk you through it. Because you walk through undercover, you pretty much know the layout of the place. So depending on how you choose to leave, it's up to you. There's so many different little, key tidbit things that they've done that I really do appreciate. Wish there was more effort like that going into all the Call of Duties. It's been a while, man. But yeah, World War II's all right. And aside from that, that's all that I've been playing this week. I got to say, this might not be a long podcast, which I wouldn't mind because I am rather famished. I am tired. I had a long birthday day. I tried to make some extra footage for the podcast when I got home, and there was other errands I've been running. I'm trying to make sure that everything's put together and correct, because we're gonna build this PC. We're gonna build it one time. We're gonna build it perfect, and all these issues with COVID, man, it's like parts are back ordered, parts are out of stock. I found a case with great cooling and it was gonna fit my 3 fans, and immediately I hit the purchase button, go through, review, and confirm the order, and it was out of stock. And it was one left in stock when I started the order. I was so pissed. So, but hopefully this next one that I found has just as good airflow as it seems based on my knowledge, and it doesn't take too long to get here. So hopefully by the 10th we'll be ready to go. I guess we get into the news, or I can fill in the middle with a short topic. I'm gonna give you a little preview to the video that I'm working on, which is gonna be the analysis and research, while me sharing my own opinion and perspective on what makes a gamer, what is a gamer, what is a real gamer, or what's a casual gamer or a hardcore gamer. I won't include core gamer in this video because a core gamer is so middle of the road that it's not really meant to be mentioned. It's very binary these days when it comes to what type of gamer you are, when it comes to casual or hardcore. So I guess we could just leave it at that. Yeah. Now, in my humble, short, concise opinion, casual gaming is for people who play the game for their sole purpose, just to play games. You see, that's their reason behind it. Number one priority for them is fun. You see, you can't exactly define a casual gamer by the types of game they play, because everybody can play any game. But if you play it casually, you play it casually. You don't take it seriously, so you might not really grasp the full tutorial. Just play enough to button mash. That's very common. Or, you just play it enough to get a feel for it until you're tired of it, and then you go and do whatever else hobbies or passions that you have that are stronger and a higher priority than gaming to you. So that's usually, how I'd imagine the ball will roll. Now, is it bad to be a casual gamer? That's a question I shouldn't even have to answer. If you think it's bad, then that means you actually are not a casual and you want to be a better gamer. So if you want to be a better gamer, there's only two ways to do so. One, learn your gaming history and improve your palette and play different genres and play a bunch of different games. Or just be super, super, super good at one game. You see? So that should help you. That should help you right there. I mean, those are the two types of hardcore gamers that I can think of. You could name a third as the people who like to do one-to-one peripherals when they're playing certain games. Like you got some who use some gamers who play a lot of simulators. Or if you look at what was it, Mech Warrior? Yeah, I think it was Mech Warrior. It had like a full panel controller where every single button was something to control the mech with, like you were actually piloting armored suit Gundam of some sorts. And those type of people who they would consider also like a hardcore audience as well. But here's the thing. There's a lot of mystery out there about the reason there's so much mystery about the definition between casual and hardcore is because you have a lot of people who don't know that they are actually casual gamers. If you claim to have 100 plus games, or 200 plus games, and you own a huge library of games, hell, you could have a collection of every console and game from the past 5 generations and a Steam library with over 1,000 titles. But if you don't play them and you just collect the games, then your hobby and passion is not video games and playing video games. Your hobby and passion is collecting the video games. You have more fun so in searching online and out at flea markets and whatnot to try to find good bargains on games and then collect them and put them into your collection or resell them on eBay. That's where you derive joy from it. You don't get any type of high from playing the game and beating it, or playing the game, being the best at it, or playing the game and experiencing everything that the developers have created for you to experience. Now, because of this, we got to talk about the inverse real quick. Now, your hardcore gamers, this is another reason why the lines are blurred and people don't really understand the meaning of these phrases, these titles. When it comes to hardcore gamer, like I said before, it's either you are all about the games, you live for it, you learn the history, you know developers and companies and producers and things like that. Like, the name of the artists and the project lead directors and all these other little things within gaming, no matter what it is, if it's a niche thing, if you're crazy about the software side of things and you're just bonkers about code and how well they code their operating systems, or making new mechanics for games that revolutionize how we look at things, or making these new unique systems to where there's more variability or player agency, etc. Like if you're the type of gamer where Spore, for those who don't know, Spore was a EA title several years back, many years back actually, where you could actually create creatures and they would evolve as if they were actual real creatures and evolve in a certain manner, and people were crazy about that game. But if you were crazy about coding, then you would have to wonder, your brain would go, man, I wonder what code they use to generate all of these randomly generated but still relative based off of the base information that the player used to create these creatures and still have them evolve. That would actually intrigue you. So you would probably go into start with emulation, looking into hexadecimal code editing and whatnot, and you'll end up writing scripts and codes, and maybe even doing some reverse engineering and porting of certain titles. You might even end up soft modding and learning to do some jailbreaking and whatnot, and that'll be your path in the hardcore gamer department. That's definitely not a casual. Now, if you have the other type of hardcore that I mentioned earlier, is the one that's knowledge based. They know everything about the industry. They're crazy about the industry. They want to know where it's going to go, where it came from, and how and what's going on this very second, every day, And I'm about maybe 20% that, maybe 10 to 15% that. And the last one I would consider being the hardcore gamer is more me. I'm very motivated and pretty harsh on myself when it comes to my performances. So I like to improve. I try to get better and better and better, and I want to be the best at it, and there's a lot of us out there. We're like a dime a dozen, unfortunately. But I believe what sets me apart is that I really enjoy all the other tidbits and things and all the other unimportant things that people don't really, they just gloss over, like Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. There's a point where you get captured in Groznygrad where the boss starts to interrogate you with Ocelot, which is the famous scene where Naked Snake, lost his eye. Well, after you've beaten that section, of course you won't have your original gear, but you'll still have your camo pants, but no shirt, just the suspenders to keep your pants up. So you walk around shirtless, but still with pants and boots on, and you can find a weapon. It's going to be a light machine gun, I think, at the top left corner. If you move northwest, you'll find it in a little shed somewhere. And while you shoot it, he'll just, let it go fully automatic. But I think more than a second, if you're shooting it fully automatic for more than a second, he'll just start screaming like Rambo. So it could be a Rambo reference because, Rambo was also in the movie. Shirtless, wearing a bandana and camo pants, shooting LMGs. So, there you have it. Little things like that, like did you know type of tidbits. I wonder, did they have that in a did you know? I'd love to be on a did you know one day. Did you know gaming? Like, did you know? In Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater? Like, oh, that's some good stuff. There's a lot of good tidbits in those games. But anywho's, now, I also grind to be the best, but I also love and pay attention closely to my favorite developers and other surrounding developers that make a lot of noise that you can't forget about, and especially ones, developing companies that I have grown up with. So that's the type of gamer I would consider myself. And yes, I used to be the elitist when it came to shooters, had to be the best. when it came to hack and slash games, which is one of my favorite single player genres. You know, Devil May Cry, every difficulty always done. S ranks are always the aim. But yeah, that's the whole gist of it. I'm really, you know, I'm really serious about it because I love it. I've been obsessed about the entire form of media since I was a kid. I always have been, always will be. I'm just more passionate about it than many other people. So clearly, you know, I can't get away from it. Now, that's gonna be a little tidbit about it because my final thoughts on the entire existence of these labels in the first place, and do I think it's necessary, etc. All of those will be in the video itself. But if you agree with me, please let me know. Please leave a comment. If you disagree, I want to see other people's point of view on this thing because I've tried to research as much as possible, and it's not exactly anything. How can I explain? There's not exactly anything clear when it came to investigating this because you can't really just run like a census or any type of scientific study on this, you know. So what can you do but ask the people? So please let me know. Please let me know. What do you think about being a gamer or not being a gamer? Because there's a huge... I think everybody wants to imagine a huge spectrum, but they only enforce it in a binary fashion. So, without further ado, let's move on to the news. So this week, like I said, there's not much news. I literally only have about 5 articles for you guys and one non-article piece of news, which we'll start with is Phantasy Star Online 2, an MMO, action RPG MMO, or action MMO RPG, whatever. It's been in Japanese only for since it released, like years and years ago. But finally, there's a American translated and fully ported release. So it's been localized, and there's one big downside to the whole launch, because the launch was a shit show. Oh, it was terrible. I got a lot of friends that's crazy about PSO, and they've already given me the lowdown before I even got a hold of this article. And one of the things was the servers are meh, the translation is ass, and what else is wrong with it? What else did they say? I can't recall what else they said was the issue, but it's just a lot of things that they need to fix with that game. I don't know what exactly is the beginning or end of Phantasy Star Online. I've never played the first and have not played the second yet. So I might play PSO 2 since it's, new hotness and I'll have a machine that's able to do it. Maybe I might get into it. My friend's been wanting to suck my life away with an MMO for years. So here we go. Next, you're invited. A look at the future of gaming on PlayStation 5. Now, there's supposed to be a little showcase of the PlayStation 5 official reveal and everything. It's supposed to be happening on the 4th of June. And I'm ready for it. I'll tune in, make sure I catch all the details, same as I did with the last press conference, which I don't think I ever commented. On the gameplay trailer that was shown for PlayStation 5 with the it was like a female character running and jumping through buildings, tall cliffs. Yeah, see, that right there, if that's real-time gameplay in low times, then that's solid. That's solid. But at the same time, to be fair, that environment is easily rendered with today's hardware. It wasn't that impressive, because the only reason people were gawking so hard is because they were busy memeing toward Microsoft, who said they were going to show Assassin's Creed gameplay and didn't, while Sony shows gameplay of just a demo, real quick with that video. And I don't find it that impressive, unless I can feel it in hand and I can tell that was in game. I can't be impressed that much. Plus, it was up high and there was only buildings. So the only thing that the game really had to worry about rendering, which it had very good draw distance. It was amazing draw distance for one. For two, the buildings were crumbling, looked realistic with high definition textures running all through, and yet not a single bit of them caused any frame drops. So if there were no frame drops, good draw distance, short load times, it sounds too good to be true. So we have to be cautious here. Okay. Not saying that it's fake, but I'm just being hopefully just cautiously optimistic. That's the best way I could put it. All right. So hope you guys are going to be there when they reveal the PlayStation 5, and hey, we could discuss it on next week's podcast. Platinum Games back again this week. The boss of Platinum Games says that he's unimpressed with next gen consoles, which is something that worries me. If he's unimpressed, that means that we've hit kind of a plateau, almost diminishing returns of stronger hardware. We don't really need more hardware or more powerful hardware. Hell, we haven't made huge leaps in powerful hardware in more than a decade. Processors, dual-core processors are still legitimate in this day and age, and just jumping up to 6-core, 8-core, it helps, but it's not always necessary unless you're doing something that's stress heavy. So and the only thing that really pushes the limits of hardware these days are either running a server or playing a video game. So what else is going to push that arms race anymore? And plus, more development these days are geared toward good gameplay rather than just graphical fidelity, which is great because it's easy to make a game look graphically amazing. They don't have to jump through hoops and make little tricks to make characters look good anymore with the hardware that we have. They can literally just put the person one-to-one in the game through facial scanning. And then on top of that, because of lighting effects, modern day lighting effects, oh man, they don't really have to work that hard. And now they're trying to do this ray tracing thing, but ray tracing is a meme. It's not really that big a deal, for one thing, and two, it takes up too much resources to be applicable for the public to like it and use it, So ray tracing is not really necessary. Anywho, moving forward, Sonic games now have longer development schedules for higher quality games. This is something that needed to happen a long time ago. Sonic games churning out games every year, sometimes two. That does nothing but stress your workers, diminish your brand value from over a population, and sick of seeing it. Sonic needs to take care of his brand right now. And it's had a huge boost thanks to the success of a huge boost to their stocks thanks to the success of the movie. And since a sequel to the movie has also been announced this week, it looks like things are looking up for Sonic. So they said that they can take little breaks and make sure that they put the quality over the quantity of games. Kind of like Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft, where they would make a new Assassin's Creed, 2 Assassin's Creeds a year, and they would mostly be trash. Like, it would be like 2 bad Assassin's Creeds and then 1 good one. And then you get 2 bad ones and then you get 1 good one. And it's always phoned in. The missions are not that different from 5 games ago. You're either trailing somebody, killing somebody, knocking somebody out. stealing from somebody or talking to someone. So hopefully we're gonna get some new big graded announcements. You know, the anniversary of Sonic, I think is a 20th anniversary or something like that. No, his 30th anniversary is coming up. His 30th anniversary. Come on. All I had to do was look at how old I am. I'm not 30 yet, by the way. So all of you shut up. But yeah, 30th anniversary for Sonic's coming up in 2021. So this is gonna be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Hopefully that what this big thing that they're going to reveal is going to be something that everybody's been waiting on for decades. So, here's to hopefully Sonic Adventure 3. Maybe. Anywho's, moving on. Next thing on the docket, Metroid Prime Trilogy could be coming to the Switch next month. This is huge news. Metroid Prime Trilogy, it's been known to be one of the hardest games to find, one of the hardest copies to get a hold of, because not only was it very rare, it was also very expensive. The reason being is the original Metroid Prime 1 and 2 were on the GameCube, while Metroid Prime 3 Corruption was on the Wii. Now, the Metroid Prime Trilogy, however, they released it on the Wii, I believe. Yeah, it was Wii, wasn't it? Yeah. So this was the first two Metroid Prime games were retooled for the Wii mode and motion controls. There's no other versions of those first two games that has that feature available. So if you've ever seen on eBay, I don't know how much it goes for now, but on eBay for years, one copy of the Metroid Trilogy still in the box used to be like almost $800 or more, you know. So it was insane out there. People really wanted it, and it was very rare. Last thing on the docket would be NetherRealm Studios is working on a project that isn't Mortal Kombat or Injustice. So right, what they're doing right now is not Mortal Kombat 12 or Injustice 3. But everybody we're wondering what it is, okay? Because if it's not Mortal Kombat, they said in general not Mortal Kombat, then it can't be Shaolin Monks 2, which is what I want. But another thing is it's not Injustice, so it might be a whole new IP, man. They're working on the WB. What could they acquire or get a hold of from WB and make into a video game? You know, because NetherRealm, all they know how to do is make fighting games. Let's be honest. So, what type of fighting game are we getting, boys? For the American contender of fighters, what you think we're getting? I don't know. Let's speculate. Tell me in the comments below. But anyhow, I'll go ahead and sign it here. Everybody always remember, just work with me. I think I'm starting a manga next week, so we're gonna do that, and gonna be playing some Okage, the Demon King, and I'm gonna be streaming some Hotline Miami, and I'm gonna be streaming some Guacamelee, and y'all just be here, bro. Okay, we got a lot of stuff that we're gonna be going through, a lot of games that I'm gonna be getting the chance to play finally, and yeah, hope you'll be there. Don't forget to help me out and push it so the channel can get somewhere. All right, hit the like button, leave me a comment, and go ahead, subscribe to the channel. All right, don't forget. And always remember the channel motto, okay? Intentions are the most important. Actions ain't nothing but loud, and words don't mean a damn thing. This is SlimCogcast. I love y'all. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next week.